like to welcome our first, good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome us to our monthly meeting. Hope our first-time attendees and newer members, if you can introduce yourselves in the chat box, that'd be great. All attendees have been muted, and please use the chat box for questions. We'll be monitoring the chat box, so hopefully we can answer any and all questions. And please make sure that you're messaging all panelists and attendees by using the drop-down box. As a reminder, we try not to mark it in the chat box. Today is National Lemon Day. We have a few people not present with us, so we're going to try to make lemonade from the lemons that we were given this month. Upcoming web shops on August 21st, I'd like to bring our attention to the School Energy Projects 101. I think now in schools these days, we are really focused on energy and sustainability and trying to reduce our general fund expenditures. Now that a lot of one-time money has kind of flushed through the system, we're trying to find efficient ways of operating. And so I'm looking forward to hearing this very diverse panel talk about school energy projects. It's 101 and 201. So the first part will be August 21st. The second part will be September 18th. So please, if you haven't signed up, please do so, and look forward to seeing you all there. And first, I'd like to bring up Ida Claire, State Architect, to give us an update on all things DSA. So Ida, I know you're out there and you have matching glasses with me, and you took them off and changed. And you're a fellow USC fan, so fight on and look forward to the update.
Thank you, Tom. I did switch my glasses back to being like Greg. Sorry.
You got the memo originally and then you threw it away, but I'll forgive you.
Yes, fight on. Okay, sharing my screen. Oh, may I have a request to share, please?
Yes, 1 second.
Thank you. Okay. So a little bit about DSA updates and reminders. We're busy this summer, not as busy as we probably would like to be, more so because we think that our fees, which will be taking effect in September, are preventing people from submitting in July and August so that they can take advantage of additional costs, which is totally fine. But our workload has reduced a little bit. But by the same token, sorry, I missed this screen, which basically I had reported before that staff would be in the office 4 days a week as of July 1. That has now changed, and staff is still in office 3 days a week, teleworking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, teleworking Monday, Friday till July 1st, 2026. So we are maintaining the status quo for now. We are hiring, always that plug for hiring. We're getting really busy, as I stated. So hiring is good. I know that we need some structural engineers in the San Diego office. So due to some retirements that are coming up at the end of the year. So please look for those advertisements and apply. Project submittals, we ended the year 24-25 at about $12.4 billion in construction. It's probably a little higher than we've normally been. We're trying to determine if it's just the construction costs that increased and we were relatively the same, but I do believe we have more projects that were also submitted. In the context of the entire fiscal year, 3,430 projects. Our busiest office that received projects was San Diego. You can see Oakland was the least busy with about 20% of the work. The other 3 offices had about a balanced workload. Work on our desks. These are applications that were received the last month of the fiscal year, which was June. And we received $1.2 billion, 1.25, sorry, 1.1 $1.75 billion in construction to plan review. So this work is presently on our desks. Again, you could see the increase in San Diego's workload. And then, of course, this month in July, we're almost close to the end of the month, about $709 million worth of construction. San Diego is still busy with 49 projects. As I stated when I started, we think that this drop is probably due to fees. We usually see a drop in the summer a little bit, but this is a pretty significant drop. So I'm unsure if it's just understanding construction activity, tariffs that might be coming up, or just waiting for our fees to drop before they submit. We'll see in September when that new fee takes effect. August 2025, again, a little light, about 785 million. Normally that's even a little bit less than normal. We're closer around 800-900 million. Obviously over $1 billion is a really busy month, but still a little relatively light for us. A little bit about 2025 submittals to the code. I should say this is probably 2026 submittals as well. $42 billion in state and local bonds passed in 2024. So we are anticipating workload to be consistently busy. We do have a code change coming January 1st, 2026. 2025 CBC submittals will be accepted beginning December 2025. So you can start designing early to the code. LA schools affected by fire will have priority processing. We've met with LAUSD and we will be busy February, March on LA schools rebuilds, which are prioritized. So take that also into consideration when you submit. 2022 CBC PCs, pre-check projects, will be in effect through June 30th, 2026 to give time to our PC manufacturers to come into compliance with the 2025 code. We give them a 6-month period to get their projects approved. 2025 admin code provisions are effective now. They're effective 30 days after adoption, which was in April. And then the 2025 California Building Standards Code will have a new part. It's Part 7, the California Wildland Urban Interface Code. The codes aren't presently published. You can purchase them now if you need to. I just got mine yesterday. So I talked a little bit about our plan review and filing fee adjustments, and we are adjusting fees for structural safety and access compliance. I'm not getting into too much detail here, but because you'll all receive a copy of this and also receive notifications if you're signed up for our listserv. But our fees will drop September 1st. So for projects registered to submit after September 1, these fees will apply. Prior to that, we have the existing fees. You will notice that eTracker does have the calculator in place to do that fee cost calculation for you. Obviously, always request a free pre-application meeting for smooth delivery of your projects. It helps. We do have a meeting of the Public School Construction Collaborative established. We filled our vacancies, and our next meeting with our new vacancies filled with our new members is September 23rd, 2025. We will have an agenda out probably about 3 to 4 weeks in advance. If you are on the PSCC and you want something discussed, I believe there was a message sent out for requests to place items on the agenda. If any of the rest of you want to have the PSCC discuss an issue, you're always welcome to email me and we can put it on the agenda for discussion. Again, the Public School Construction Collaborative is a representative group of all school stakeholders. And so the discussion provides great representation of all the issues related to an item that's set for discussion because the members are representative of specific groups in school construction. All right, a little bit about our rulemaking update. We are presently in the 2025 intervening code adoption cycle. That's for requirements that will take effect July 1st, 2027. We were in the process of addressing additional requirements for embodied carbon because our initial foray into embodied carbon requirements was 3 years ago. And so this was time to address addressing, increasing the requirements a bit. However, AB 130 was passed last month, and a little bit about AB 130. Its intent was to reduce housing costs by limiting state agency rulemaking. The legislature believes that the state regulations for housing that are in the building code, not the ones in model code, but in the building code, may add costs. And so they want to put a pause on any additional regulations that are developed at the state level for housing. And so what AB 130 did was permit the triennial adoption of model codes and the retention of existing state amendments when it's related to housing. That pause is from October 25 to June 31. For all other regulations, obviously for schools, we can continue rulemaking. However, they also want to limit the work that we can do in the intervening code cycle, which is the cycle we're in right now, which is the 18-month supplement to the new codes that will take in effect in January. And the reason why they want to put a pause is traditionally the intervening code cycle was supposed to be a clarifying document. And there have been material changes that occurred in the intervening code cycles because there was no limit to that. And so it basically did a reset to the intent of intervening code cycle to clarifying, conforming, or coordinating changes that do not materially alter substance or intent of existing code provisions, emergency building standards, amendments by the state fire marshal to the wildland urban interface code, and then also building standards necessary to incorporate updates to accessibility requirements at the federal level. And so, as I stated, we're in the intervening code cycle right now. We're reevaluating the proposals that we were going to advance to determine which ones meet these requirements. Moving forward, the statutes that were implemented as a result of AB 130 to the intervening code cycle are perpetual. They are not limited to this small window for residential building standards at the triennial cycle. All this may be very confusing to all of you, but it's just enough to say that significant material changes to the code will likely only happen every 3 years instead of every 18 months, as has been happening. Though changes may occur at 18 months, provided they are clarifying or needed by an emergency nature. But we are continuing our cross-agency work and support. We work still with BSC on the Cal Green Carbon Reduction Collaborative. Right now, we're discussing clarifying amendments. We're still working with the California Energy Commission. Their rulemaking is every 3 years. And so we are talking right now about the 2028 Energy Code and working with them to clarify energy requirements, especially in campus settings. And then, of course, the work that's part of the California Air Resources Board, AB 2446 and AB 43, regarding a reduction in greenhouse gases, part of also our embodied carbon effort. So anything that's developed through this process right now may come into some form of regulation at the triennial, which is the next code cycle, not the one that we're presently in, for the 2028 code, to address any kind of opportunities that California Air Resources Board has identified for meeting these greenhouse gas reduction targets. DSA regulations and documents. This is all pretty repetitive. Nothing new and substantial has occurred since the last monthly update, but just a reminder, IRA 22, projects exempt from review, has been clarified. So we're hoping this document is much more user-friendly. Over-the-counter review of projects, we've shifted a little bit. We try to do a pre-review, desk review. We require documents to be sent in a week in advance so that we're ready for your over-counter review with comments already made. You can make those comments in our offices, we're able to see a lot more over-the-counter projects through this process, and the goal is approval by the end of day. Geohazard report requirements. We have clarified which projects require a report reviewed and accepted by CGS, which is beneficial because there was oftentimes a significant delay by CGS in their review. Document update for accessibility. I've discussed this often about our new procedures and our new forms for unreasonable hardship and requests for technical finding of infeasibility. And just our access resources, our California EVCS accessibility video is live and online, and it has been updated to the 2022 code intervening code cycle, which was last July. So the amendments to that is we don't focus as much on CalGreen, we focus much more on accessibility, and it's our goal that hopefully we won't be advancing too much change to those requirements so that video can and that training can live on for a while. The California existing building code, State Fire Marshal was supposed to be working on amendments to clarify. I believe they did, and that will be in effect in January, which means this bulletin will likely be repealed at that time. If you are doing documentation for the 2025 code, there are additional methods for meeting in the California existing building code related to fire life safety that can be utilized in the 2025 edition of the code that are not permitted in the 2022 edition of the code. So this after January will likely be repealed. Just a reminder that as of February of this year, State Fire Marshal has passed regulations to require a safety plan during construction. DSA will only ensure that you have actually created a site safety plan and submitted it. We don't look at the details. That responsibility is on the district and the contractor. And then, of course, BU 2404 classroom locks. I am unsure with the present status of regulatory requirements when the State Fire Marshal might advance these into Chapter 10 of the CBEC. We still haven't heard if there's any appropriation by the state. So this message is really just to let you know that if you are installing locks on the door of any classroom with an occupancy of 5 or more, we will plan check for that, but we are not looking to see that you are doing so. That is right now presently the responsibility of the district to ensure that they meet the requirements of AB 2565 as they read it. So, but if those locks are there, we will plan check them to the code requirements. And then, of course, always about emergency planning and preparedness. We must always be prepared to address our concerns about getting school back up and in session after an emergency. So this information is always valuable. A little bit about our getting to zero over time real quick. Sustainability plan review. We are in the process of hiring 4 senior architects, 1 in each office. I do believe that those advertisements are out, and that is to assist school districts in CalGreen compliance at pre-app meetings early. This does not mean we're providing plan review to CalGreen. It's really addressing energy code compliance, CalGreen compliance early in the process so that those requirements that design professionals are aware of them and they're designed into the project early. Also an opportunity to ask questions, also an opportunity to inform the sustainability architects about concerns and issues that you're having in your projects related to CalGreen and the energy code so that we can then transfer that information to the rulemaking entities that develop the regulations and try to get them resolved for the next edition of the code, or to try to even assist in interpretation to the present edition of the code. So essentially our sustainability architects, again, 1 in each office, really are there to support all of you in meeting the sustainability efforts that your district has aimed to achieve. They'll also be doing other work in rulemaking and assisting the headquarters office, and also providing plan review for pre-check projects of modular and relocatable buildings, for which we do provide full sustainability review, including Calgreen and Energy. Always our resources are on site. We're hoping when we have this new staff in place, they will also be updating the Sustainable School Showcase again so that we can bring those features to you. DSA Academy, we're trying to add more classes, but these classes are available, especially for architects and engineers who need either accessibility or Calgreen assistance for licensing. And beyond that, subscribe to our mailing list by this QR code, and I keep moving it. And any questions and answers.
Well, Ida, I have my first all-electric kitchen CTE program at one of our high schools, and I got to tell you, it's fascinating as a foodie to watch our students cook in an environment that is all electric.
I
And
hope they're enjoying it as well, knowing
they
that
are, and
they're
it's
the
beyond
future.
sustainability. They love the idea of, I think that your food cooks differently than it does with gas, all electric. So, anyways, just food for thought for everyone. I love our new all electric kitchen. So,
Thank you for that information, Tom. Congratulations. That's exciting.
so I think with no questions, Ida, you're off the hook. And now that we learned that each office has a lot of free time, you can get back to your
Yeah, not
Amazon
free
card.
time, but we're gearing up. Be nice to us and submit early so that if you have a project, submit it in September, not December, if you can. Thank you.
And then I would say that I don't think that districts are purposely waiting because of a fee reduction. My guess is most of us, or those who did pass bonds, it takes a bit of time to sell your bonds and then get the money out to your architects and design teams. So my guess is you're not going to feel the crunch of the last bond cycle for a few months anyways.
Yes, and obviously the reduction in fees will help with that, won't it? So
Hey, I'll take whatever reduction in fees from DSA that I can get.
exactly. Thank you all. Have a good good August coming up. See you at the end of next month.
And so with that, I think we have up next is Brian Lepask with the Office of Public School Construction. Brian, are you out there virtually somewhere in the world?
I am. How are you doing, Tom?
Good. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Doing well. Thanks for asking.
How's the weather up there in Sacramento?
Actually, beautiful. We've had several days now of, I think a couple of them were even not even to 80 degrees. So getting some of that San Diego weather here in Sacramento. It's been nice and cool the last few evenings.
It was shocking to me that I drove into work in late July and had my heat on because it was that chilly on my way into work. So
Yeah.
I cannot predict the weather these days, but look forward to hearing your updates, sir, and always good seeing you.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's good to be here. I have a pretty brief update today. As you know, there's no state allocation board meeting this month. We do have a lot of things going on anyway, though. And starting tomorrow, tomorrow we're going to have continuation of our stakeholder meetings. We're going to be discussing interim housing and natural disaster assistance tomorrow, as well as mandatory use of OPSC online. That would be for going at some point in the future is what our intent is on that, and it'd be for all application submittals and document uploads. So we have fully prepared regulations for those topics, and we're looking forward to that discussion. We're also going to be presenting updates on other topics coming up in the next few weeks, few months. We have, I think right now we're tentatively scheduled for 2 or maybe even 3 meetings in August, and then another 2 or 3 meetings in September. So we're trying to get through all these topics. There's quite a few of them. We've dispatched a few of them already. They're off to the board, but we have a lot of stuff still to finish. And so we're trying to go quickly on them, but we're trying to also balance the overload of information for our stakeholders. It seems like if we go out too quickly with too many topics, we seem to get less feedback. And so that's not really what we want. We want everybody to be able to be fully engaged and ready to talk about these topics. So I wouldn't say we're slowing down, but we're mindful of the frequency. and making sure that we're giving those time to breathe and for everybody to kind of take a look at them and consider all the different aspects, because they can get pretty complicated pretty quickly. We're trying our best to keep them as straightforward as possible, and make them as easy to access as we can, and just making sure that we also adhere to all the requirements. So we're doing that balancing act the best we can. We do anticipate having meetings continuing through the rest of this calendar year, maybe even into next year a little bit. We'll probably see less frequency of topics because we're going to be kind of, getting through all the proper meetings that we need to have, and having all those discussions. But it's probably going to take through the rest of the year, and so that's what we're looking at right now. Can't thank you enough, as I say a lot during those meetings. If you're watching them, or if you see me talking here, I really appreciate. I can't thank you enough for all the engagement and participation. It's been really constructive and collaborative, and we really appreciate it. And you guys are helping us tremendously in that process, and we're really appreciative. Speaking of regulations, last month at the June SAB, regulations were approved for a few of the Prop 2 items that we've fully vetted through our stakeholder process, related to matching share changes, 75 years or older building replacement, minimum essential facilities supplemental grants, and transitional kindergarten supplemental grants. So those are approved by the state allocation board now. They're off to the rulemaking process. I'm very pleased with how they turned out. Again, a lot of it's thankful to the feedback we got, and just the back and forth that we received from a lot of you. So thank you again for that. Couple of funding rounds to be aware of. We have an upcoming career technical education facilities program funding round. It's I guess you could say it's underway. I mean, applications are being accepted by CDE. They're due to them no later than December 1st of this year. And then funding applications are due to OPSC by June 30th of 2026. So you submit that initial grant application to Department of Education by December 1st. They will score your application, and then you take that score and come to OPSC with a funding request. I know it might sound like it's a long ways out, but it's going to be here before you know it. NFL training camps are open. That means that the fall and the cooler weather's coming. It's going to be December before you know it. So if that is something that you're interested in, I would definitely get the ball rolling as soon as you can, and get that submittal into CDE to get the ball rolling for a future application to OPSC by next June. Our charter school facilities program is underway. That opened up just a few weeks ago. It's going to be open through October 30th of this year. From what I understand, we have just a handful of apps so far, but we are anticipating a lot of them. So that's also, a couple months off, but that timeline will close up really quickly. So make sure that you're not waiting until the last minute to submit those. For both programs, our OPSC website has a bunch of really good resources, really useful information. There's webinars, there's videos you can watch on the programs. There's all sorts of frequently asked questions and tips that you can access there. We also have staff that are ready to answer any questions that you have. So please reach out if you do have questions. We don't want you to get tripped up at the last moment, or discover that, oh shoot, I don't have this documentation I need. So if you can go take a look, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to assist you with that. Those are again, those deadlines are going to get here before you know it. I know there's a lot going on otherwise, but if you're intending to apply for them, I recommend doing it sooner than later. And then just we have a staffing update. We're in the midst of hiring analysts at the moment, just backfilling for normal turnover. But we're also planning to begin hiring for a team. We were awarded positions in the state budget this year for a new team that's going to be most likely working on the new lead and water program that was part of Proposition 2. And it's also going to be focused on outreach to small school districts. We're going to be coordinating with Department of Ed on their efforts for assisting small school districts, and that team is going to be a big part of that. I think all of our staff are going to be involved with that, but we're going to have a team that's a little bit more focused on the outreach side of it. So we're going to be hiring for that probably in the next month or so. So you might, if you're looking, you might see some openings and for those positions. And then lastly, we've finished our first round of testing for the OPSC online user guide. I sent it out to, I think, roughly 50 individuals. Um, a lot of you reached out and asked to be included, and I sent it to all the people that reached out to me. We got an okay amount of feedback. I think it was, I'd say, roughly 15% of the people we sent it to. Um, Realistically, I thought that's about what we might receive, maybe 15, 20%. I was hoping for a little bit more, but I've just decided that our guide is really useful and that there wasn't a whole lot of comments. At least I hope so. And so that's how I'm choosing to look at that. It's integral to us getting OPSC online more usable. And so we are going to be doing a couple more rounds of testing. Right now we're in that position, in that phase where we're taking the feedback we did receive and we're having our teams go back and make amendments, either to clarify areas that were called out in the feedback or to maybe just sort of improve in some areas that there might have been a little bit of confusion or I know I read a few things that the guide wasn't in lockstep with the form instructions on some of the forms. So we're going to be taking a close look at that, making sure that everything's lined up. And then we're going to be sending out for a second round of testing right around August 15th. And then we'll even do a third round of testing on October 15th. So when we do these testing periods, they're for about 1 month. And then we take the feedback, do edits and updates for a month, and then retest. And so we're planning on doing 2 more cycles of that. And then hopefully by about the end of this calendar year, we'll be able to release that full guide. I think I've mentioned it quite a few times, but it's a very robust guide. It's nearly 1,000 pages. There's a lot of features in OPSC Online, and so we're doing our best to outline all of them or as many as we can, at least the most popular ones first. And the goal of that is just so that if you do have someone that you're delegating to go in and fill applications out for you or take a look in there and kind of figure out the system. We want a really good, robust guide that you can use to do that in it. The idea of it is that even if you've never really tinkered around in OPSC Online before, using that guide, you'll be able to navigate your way through the programs and through the submittal process. So that's the goal. And so we've been working really hard on that. I just wanted to recognize our staff, in addition to all the Prop 2 stuff and all of our normal day-to-day stuff just for processing. A lot of them have been working on this guide, and it turned out really great, and we're really proud of it. So thank you to everyone that took time to test it. I'm hoping that we'll get a little bit more response next time, or maybe just some great feedback that it looks good. So we've been working hard on that. We're looking forward to continuing that process. I don't have anything else to say. That's my update. I hope everybody's enjoying their summer and looking forward to the upcoming school year. We're always available if you have any questions. So have a great rest of your week, and we'll be seeing you again soon.
Well, Brian, I got one quick question for you, sir. I know you mentioned football season. So what football team do you follow?
I'm a New York Giants fan, unfortunately for me. It's been a tough
Wow.
few years. Yeah. I'm not from New York area or anything, but for whatever reason, when I was really young, I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I know it was grammar school. They had Lawrence Taylor and Phil Simms back then, and I just kind of latched onto them, and I've been a fan ever since. So
Well,
hopeful for the young team we have, but I'm not too optimistic this year again.
well, maybe that's why you didn't get a lot of feedback on your guide. Typically, Giants fans are hard to understand, so maybe it could be related to that. And just want to remind you that as you watch the Commanders crush you later this
Oh,
year, that Jaden Daniels is a high school graduate of Cajon High School here in San
oh, is that
Diego.
right?
Yeah, so we are endlessly proud
Oh,
of our young man, and
that's great. Well, he's on 2 of my fantasy teams, and I'm going to be hanging on to him this year for sure. So
so yeah, San
I,
Bernardino native. So we're proud of our San
that's
Bernardino.
really cool. I did not know that. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I appreciate the time, Brian, as always. And I do have to tell you the transparency that OPSC is putting into Prop 2 implementation is a stark difference than the past. I know how hard you guys work for school districts. I got a call from a San Diego school district a couple weeks ago wanting to ask about financial hardship. I asked them how they got our number and why me. And they said, well, I was talking to Michael Watanabe and he referred me to you. And I know that Michael flew down to San Diego, went and looked at their schools, gave them a lot of good advice. And so I just appreciate you guys endlessly and love the transparency and the collaboration. So have a
Thanks,
good
Tom.
rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
And with that, I am going to call up Nancy Charez Espinosa to give us a legislative, regulatory, and maintenance network update, as well as a CEC update. So, Nancy, you are all things cash today. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. So, look forward to hearing from you and know that you guys are hard at work and time is yours.
Thank you. So, yes, I am the only one you're going to get to hear from today, unfortunately, but hopefully I'll have a comprehensive update for you all. I always like to begin with what's going on in the legislature, and as of last Friday, the legislature is in summer recess. Full disclosure here, my notes say legislature in summer recess, hallelujah, exclamation mark. Things were really, really jumping. They were super busy running up to that deadline last Friday, trying to get all of the bills heard. So the deadline was the last opportunity for bills to be heard by policy committees in the second house in order to continue advancing. Most bills are keyed fiscal, which means that those now need to be heard in the appropriations committees, which is what will take place in the first 2 weeks after they get back from their 1 month summer recess. And then the 2 weeks following that is when they'll deal with all of the surviving bills on the Senate and Assembly floor. Budget work, we've been sending out some updates. The main budget bills and most of the trailer bills have been put to bed, including those dealing with education. There are a few remaining trailer bills that are not specific to our issues that are still being worked on. The final deal, budget deal, maintained the sweep of the remaining 177.5 million state general fund that had been allocated to the school facilities program but hadn't gone out the door yet. The final budget also included funding for another round of kitchen infrastructure and training funding. This is an area where the dollar amount and kind of the configuration of that grant changed in every successive kind of agreement from January to the final budget. But we are pleased that funding remains, that there is another round because there was some opposition to that. So there will be another funding round, and they also extended the encumbrance date, I believe. Lastly, on the budget, we had expected it was going to officially eliminate CalShape, but it did not include the language to remove the authorization for the program. I want to draw a distinction, however, between eliminating the authorization for a program and actually funding it. So the funding has still been swept, but the authorization has not yet been removed, which means sort of live to fight another day. The program still exists on paper, and if a future advocacy effort produces some funding, then it can go forward, but that's not in the cards currently. Um, I won't say much about Proposition 2 implementation because Brian covered it so well. Cash submitted a letter regarding the proposals for the small school district supplemental grant, and just want to thank Brian and their whole team for their continued receptiveness and feedback to Cash members, and we appreciate their engagement. I think Brian mentioned at the last stakeholder meeting that they're working on about 15 topics simultaneously for regulatory changes or changes to forms. And that is a lot to manage, certainly for them and for all of us who are trying to engage in the process. So our thanks to them. I have just a few bill updates for you. First off, AB 503, which is our cash-sponsored bill to restore the fee authorization for repair of facilities collected from outside users pursuant to the Civic Center Act. This bill is on the Senate floor. It has been eligible for its final vote before it goes to the governor for a few weeks now. Uh, Unfortunately, we're running into the situation where even though this is a completely non-controversial bill with bipartisan support. The Senate and Assembly have their traditions, and one of those is that even if a bill is an urgency bill, they want to wait until that last month of session at least to get bills out. So after the summer recess. And again, everything is ready to go, and we're going to keep pushing to try to get that bill out as soon as possible. There's no actual opposition. It really is just kind of these traditions that we're running up against. And thankfully, the author has been active in advocating, and we're going to keep pushing for that. So, worst case scenario, I think what we're looking at now in terms of timeline is that that bill would pass at the end of session, the first 2 weeks of September, then go to the governor. The governor has 30 days to act at that point, and if the bill is signed at that point, it's effective immediately because it's an urgency bill. So that's AB 503. Second bill I'll talk about is AB 699 by Stefani. This is about local bond ballot labels. It's the bill to remedy the negative effects of prior legislation related to the ballot label for local bonds. Cash has a support position. The sponsor is the nonprofit Housing of California. This bill has been approved by two policy committees in the second house, Senate Local Government and Senate Elections Committees. Cash was one of two lead witnesses when the bill was heard in the Senate Elections Committee. My colleague Rebecca spoke about the importance of providing local communities with meaningful information on the ballot label. The next step for this bill is to be heard in the Senate Appropriations Committee. A little bit more detail about what this bill does. It addresses the negative effects of AB 195 from 2017. We've been working on it really ever since then, which requires local bonds and tax measures to state the rate, duration, and amount anticipated to be received annually within the 75-word ballot label. AB 699 would provide another option for compliance. Instead of the current fiscal disclosures, the local agencies could choose to include the phrase "See County Voter Guide for detailed tax rate information" on the ballot label. They would also include an enhanced measure information statement in the voter guide. So really, we believe it's a win-win. More complete information and less room for confusion. So next steps on this one, a coalition of campaign and election groups have asked for amendments to this alternative statement so that voters understand the connection to property taxes. And so Cash and the proponents are working with these groups to see if we can reach an agreement. The work continues on that, so we'll keep you posted. Last bill I want to talk about is AB 1021 WIX, which Cash has taken a support position on. This bill does a slew of little things that help LEAs build workforce housing by right. It reduces those subjective design standards that sometimes hold up projects, and it adds housing on an LEA property to an existing CEQA exemption for infill housing. So that would certainly be helpful. That is everything I have for Cash. I think I'm going to go ahead and give you the SEC update as well. So we tend to talk more about what's going on in the state, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the major events going on in Washington. So with the passage of House Resolution 1, more commonly known as the One Big Beautiful Bill, which is actually in the text. That is the actual title, believe it or not. That was signed on July 4th. It changes the phase-out timelines for IRA tax credits used by schools through direct pay. So generally, these were phased out from 2032, 2034, and now the phase-out is moving, in some cases, to the end of this year. So the cutoff dates differ by the tax credit, and in some cases, they differ by kind of subtype within the tax credit. And cutoffs can be acquiring dates of acquiring equipment. They can be dates of construction, of initiation of construction. They can be dates of putting projects into service. So again, there's a lot of detail to follow. So stay tuned. We are hoping to present either at a cash workshop next month or at SEC's monthly meeting a greater detail on that. But if you're looking at applying for one of those, you certainly want to tune into what the changes have been. Last item for SEC is another bill update, AB 942 Calderon. You may recall this is the bill that initially would have phased out about 2 million interconnection agreements and pushed everyone that was on NEM 1.0 and 2.0 to 3.0. Before the bill left the assembly, the author had agreed to exempt schools, and we were working on refining that language. But in the first policy committee in the Senate, the bill was essentially gutted and its contents replaced. So it's a significantly different bill now, and it's limited to residential utility customers. So again, we are in the clear. We've been able to go from oppose unless amended to neutral, and it was a tremendous lift, and a lot of credit goes to many people. We thank our educational partners who stood with us initially on pushing back on behalf of schools, the very broad coalition that was pushing against this bill. And of course, Senator Becker, who you may recall was the champion of SB 1374, SEC's bill last year to try to get some relief from NEM 3.0. He is the new chair of the Senate Energy Committee, and it is no coincidence that he, was able to get this bill amended so significantly. So thanks to all of those folks, and that concludes my update.
Nancy, I think before you leave, we all want to know, do you have a favorite football team?
If I have a
From
favorite
Brian.
football team, it's been a long time. The mom in me really came out over the injuries, and I haven't been able to enjoy it like I did before.
I completely understand that perspective as well. And Senator Becker is going to get a thank you card, a Christmas card from the Pace household, as I never understood the original intent of including schools, but I know a lot of hard work on your end got put into place, and so from a school district that's going to benefit, hopefully, from its ultimate passage. Thank you. As a homeowner, still not terribly thrilled with the legislation, but you can't win them all. And so with that, I think we have up next conference updates from our Vice Chair, Brooke Murray, who's not too far down the street from San Bernardino. So good seeing you again, Brooke. And we want to know now that we're asking everyone what their favorite football team is, do you have a favorite football team?
I don't, Tom. I'm sorry. It was at one point the Patriots, but I have since moved past that. So I'm good.
Yeah. Once Brady left, you were out.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm good.
All right. Well, what do you have for us on the fall conference?
All right. So we have been busy working on the fall conference agenda. You've all seen the email notifications come out from Cash that the registration is open. We are going to be held at the Hyatt Regency in Irvine. It's a new location. The conference will kick off on Wednesday, where they will be going over a pre-conference workshop. We'll be going over professional development in your career and school facilities. For those of you that are new, this is a great opportunity to come in and really learn what all the leaders and facilities have to offer. So please join the pre-conference. And then we will follow up on Thursday and Friday discussing the economic forecast. The state agencies will be giving further updates. We will be going over construction costs and project delivery, employee housing, and property disposition. And then my favorite, maintenance and operations. There'll be a hot topics where we'll be going over current trends and topics in maintenance and operations. So if any of this interests you, please be sure to register for the conference. The hotel's booking up, so please be sure to get that taken care of. Next slide. And we're also busy planning for the annual conference. So the annual conference will be held in February 25th and 27th in 2026 in Sacramento. It's not online registration just yet for that one, but the annual conference planning committee strand co-chairs are meeting this afternoon. We're finalizing the workshop topics. We're still in the blind submission phase for the topics. So our review is just based on what your topic and your description that you had given to us. The topics that we received have been innovative and new and exciting. So I am excited to finally get the topics finalized and figure out who's behind all of these creative topics that have come up. But I will share that we've covered a wide array of topics and made sure that everything that's current or new or anything that might be that you guys need to learn better or learn more about is covered within the annual conference. So we're getting close. Once the reviews are completed of the topics, we'll all be meeting, the planning committee will be meeting in August to start finalizing the agenda and the draft locations for all of the workshop topics. So we're getting close to unveiling who's going to be in the annual conference, but just save the date for February 25th and 27th. Next.
Thanks, Brooke. And I think what we have up next is the job exchange, people's choice. I'm actually not even sure what people's choice means on this, but it looks like our friends in Antioch and 29 Palms are both looking for a maintenance operations and facilities director. If you're interested, you can contact us or the school districts direct. So I think we're good on that one. So I think our next Cash Day will be held in person and virtually at the Capitol Event Center in Sacramento on August 19th, which is a Tuesday from 11 to 12:15 p.m. And then don't forget, I believe on the 21st we have, or sometime in August, we have our workshop about energy projects. And then this afternoon, there is an annual planning conference committee. And so with that, I think we can, oh, and there was a question, what is Cash Day? Well, this is Cash Day. This is the monthly update. So we referred to our monthly update as Cash Day. And so I think with that, if there's no other questions, comments, or concerns, it was good seeing everyone virtually. And look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you very much.